and welcome back to another episode of And on That Note.
I'm always like last to update my phone. When my phone starts malfunctioning, that's when I'll update it. Yeah, so you see in that case, if I have to, then I'll update it. So far it's not updated and I haven't got that set in. But like when I was at my mum's yesterday, I was asking each and every one of them and they were like, what is this COVID thing? So they didn't even realise. So
wait, where is it? Sorry, where's the COVID thing?
It's in your, you have to go to privacy, well, settings, privacy, health, and then it'll be underneath like the health tab. It will say
you can turn it off, right?
Yeah. You can turn it off. You can turn it off. It's not like
what they say. What people are theorizing is that they'll say to you, well, unless you have it, you can't come in here. We need to be able to trace who you've been in contact with.
Dubai's kind of started doing. Well, I wouldn't say they've kind of started doing it, but I think they're going to open up their borders for tourism, but overseas tourism, from like the first week in July.
Now, I think.
Oh, okay.
I saw some.
People are going on. People are starting to go on holiday. They say.
Well, I'm ready to go to Dubai, to be honest, but not yet. But
we have to let the pawns go.
Yeah, let them go first. The guinea pigs. So yeah, be going.
Let the guinea pigs go.
Let the guineas go and take that air.
Before they then tell you that there's a spike and you can't enter the country anymore.
But that's what they're doing. If you can't prove that you've had a negative result, they're making you take the test there and then, which is fine. But okay,
ew.
I might only be here for 2 days. When am I going to get my result? Yeah, otherwise they won't let you in.
Is that what they're doing in Dubai?
Yeah, I think.
Do you know the thing is, partly I don't trust the test.
Yeah,
I don't trust the test.
Did I tell you guys that
everything's just mad?
Did I tell you that I got like that Ipsos Mori letter to volunteer to take the test?
No, I didn't know there was even such a thing. What?
They're doing that, yeah. So they're doing that. They're sending random people, random letters to say, they're trialing something. They want to know if I've been in contact or had. It won't tell me if I've had it before, but it will tell me if I've got it now or I'm displaying any symptoms. Wow. So it's a test you just take at home. Obviously, your DNA just in your mouth and your nose, and you send it back.
That sounds dodgy.
But I'm just like, huh? The minute I got it,
nah, man, don't have your DNA on the system. This is what they be having.
I read it. It was in my house for like a day. I had to read it over and over again. I showed it to the guy, and then I just said, you know what? I'm putting this in the shredder. Just don't even let me see it. Shred.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Shred.
Trust it.
Why? How come all of a sudden you can do the test by yourself, whereas before they were saying, they have to do the test in some long swab,
and they were not even reaching the quota. Exactly. Now all of a sudden it's just there for you to post through my letterbox.
It doesn't make sense.
And apparently, there's a like Ipsos Mori. Let me Google what it actually means. It means something like deaf, you know.
What's Ipsos?
But Ipsos Mori is like part of a market research.
Yeah, it is a market research company. But when I Googled or I saw something, you know, all these conspiracies, Ipsos Mori, they put something up and it actually meant deaf or something.
Ipsos Mori.
Meaning in Latin. It means they die.
You're lying.
So back to sender. Back to sender.
Indeed.
Literally, it means that's what it translates to. From Latin to English, it means they die.
Now, the world is going left, you know.
Everybody's mad. The other day I told George, everybody's mad together. Like, the world has gone mad.
Everybody.
All gone mad. Because I don't know what's going on. And this whole new
my sister was
second wave in China.
A colleague of hers, had COVID-19. They tested positive and everything, and they then were offered the antibody test.
Mm.
So then the antibody test. Guess what? They said you don't have any antibodies.
Pardon?
That means you've never had COVID. So what was the original test then?
What test did they do?
Is this in the same practice that gave her these two different results?
I'm not even gonna. It's not a practice. It's where she works. She works for.
I know where she. Yes, we know where she works.
But do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know a lot of people have been saying that how they have been getting the test and then they tested originally negative and then they took the test again and then they were positive. So I think a lot of people have been having these tests and they've been getting incorrect information. So I don't trust it. I mean, even at my workplace, apparently we're all allowed to get tested, and they're providing tests for all of us. I said, yeah, I'm not taking it too.
I was like, you know, the test is rather the carry out of the thing. They've inserted it into your nose.
Exactly.
This is it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not
I just don't know. Yeah, no. And if the test is going to be coming back inaccurate anyways, what is the point?
This is it.
My fate will be my fate.
Begs the question. So all the numbers across all the world, in all the countries, like what is really reflective of what's going on? Like, are there people dying of COVID? Because that's another question. Because apparently I heard that the numbers that they're actually reporting, it was a case of if you've come in with any symptoms, whether you've been tested or not, if your symptoms are similar to COVID, they will put it down as a COVID death. And also if you have COVID, but you die, like let's say you've got diabetes and it's actually the diabetes complications, they'll put it down as a COVID death.
Still, rather than the actual medical condition, the underlying condition. Yeah, so I definitely don't believe half of what these people are saying.
Sometimes it's like, I'm not saying, oh, you know, it's not real or whatever, but I just feel like it's very hard to decipher and determine what you're supposed to be doing or what's real or what's not, because I feel like all the information that they're giving us is questionable.
And to be honest, we can only go by what they're giving us. We don't know. So whatever we see or read or hear from the media, that's it.
It's crazy.
But then that's where we only have the responsibility for, you know, actually just making sure we take care, because that's all you can do.
Sensible.
Go out.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree.
Gosh, ladies. So what were the topics that we were discussing that we were going to discuss today?
Congestion charging, free school meals.
Oh, congestion charge came in today.
Oh yeah, it's today,
no,
isn't it?
22nd. Today.
No, it's today. 22nd.
Today's Monday. Yeah.
22nd. Can you imagine?
These people are wicked. I'm sorry.
Congestion charge £15 a day.
7 days a week.
7 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week.
They might as well have just made it 24/7.
Basically.
The only day is that you're not going to be charged is Christmas Day.
But yet it's supposed to be temporary. So what do you mean? So they're planning for it to go. It's not. This is going on forever, mate.
Let me tell you. Everybody, I was telling people when this whole COVID thing happened, remember they were saying, oh, NHS staff, everybody's going to go on transport for free. Everyone, you know, kids can go for free. You can drive your car for free. Nothing is free in this world. Look at them. They are now penalizing us. Double from what we, even now.
I didn't get on that bus once for free. But yet we are paying the
consequences. I don't
think I'm getting on a bus for the rest of this. I'm not getting on any form of public transport.
I've not been on any form of public transport.
I haven't been on public transport since.
I don't think I'm doing Ubers.
I'm not doing any. I'm not going on it.
Yeah,
it's a madness.
I think I'm doing it. Guys, I'm buying a bicycle. Like, it's that deep. I'm not doing it.
It's just, but then it's so frustrating because, you know, it's like, it's a catch-22. Like, you want us to help the economy. You want to get everything back to normal. You want people to start buying from the shops and everything like that. You want the economy to recover, but you're literally saying to everybody, but you can't go to where the shops are unless you take public transport.
Which you don't want
and put your lives at risk.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know the thing, they were the ones saying that, oh, the car industry has really suffered and people are not buying new cars anymore. Well, no one's going to buy a car now because now you feel like you're getting penalized for driving. Why are you going to buy a car?
First it was the ultra low emission zone with the diesel and everything, and now it's this. So you actually can't win. I'm sorry, like I'm putting a disclaimer out to all my friends and sisters. Anybody that's having birthday dinners this year or next year,
I can't come.
This is all happening. I can't unless it's after 10. I can't.
But I don't no, I can't come. It's one of them. We'll do dinner party at home. I have a dining table. Order the food.
Everyone should cook a meal.
Because I'm not going.
Tear and share.
I'm not going.
I can't.
We're going to be doing sleepovers.
Basically.
Yeah. I mean, I even like it better because the thing is now,
let me save a coin
even if we were to go into this restaurant in central London, we don't know who's there breathing over the food.
Exactly.
We don't know anything else. So
we don't even know if they'll even... even with all this Black Lives Matter, they'll now see a group of, black people on the table. They'll now come and purposely spit in my face. No, I cannot.
No, I'm not for it. And restaurants are supposed to be opening back up from next week. Like, I was really looking forward to it, but I thought, you know what?
Me, I've been having takeaway Nando's. It's been very nice.
Oh, that's what I had for dinner today.
I've been enjoying, bro.
It's been very nice.
George, have you had Chinese
with my father? No, I haven't had Chinese.
No, Georgina, that was for Georgina. Georgina likes her Chinese.
I had Chinese the other day.
Look at her face.
I had Chinese the other day. Oh.
It's just
it
so
was
nice.
Off the chain, and I had everything. So I had. What did I have?
Okay, my mouth is even really small.
I had. What did I eat? I had house special fried rice. Oh, it's like a concoction of special fried rice with prawns, beef, rib, broccoli, carrot, then Singapore noodles. Oh my days!
And you know, George likes her veg with her Chinese.
And then I had what do they call it? King prawn in in a red chili garlic sauce. Those Chinese. You really went in. And then we had chicken balls. Chicken balls and sweet and salt and pepper chicken wings. Yeah, those are nice. It was off the chain. But you know what? That day I made sure I didn't eat for the whole day.
Yeah, so it's worth it.
Save my stomach for it. Oh my God.
I'm hungry. You're making me hungry.
I have not eaten, Daphne.
And then I watched it with a movie. And you know, you can't even drink normal drink. You have to drink cold super malt.
Yeah, to push it down.
Let me wash it all down with this.
You can't eat Chinese and then
just have water. Nah,
it doesn't make sense.
It's impossible.
So like, you're going to get that cold super malt. Off the chain.
You're even making me feel some type of way.
It was so nice.
I have not got any like really bad snacks in my house, so every so often I'll just be like, but I had popcorn today, so I can't.
I want to show you guys my fridge.
What, is it healthy or is it not?
It's a mixture. No, to be fair, my fridge is healthy, but if you go into the cupboard where we have snacks, Nathaniel and Wayne, they live in that cupboard, literally.
No, Georgina, see me. I'll be pretending that I can't see you, but before I go back to bed, I've already helped myself to. It's like a buffet, basically. Let's just say that, because my sweet tooth is ridiculous, and I would not feel fulfilled if I had not put my hands in the air. So,
do you know how much cake I've eaten?
Oh my gosh, I want cake.
I've eaten cake so much, and I love it.
What time is it? Do you think I can make it and buy cake? The shops are not 24 hours anymore, are they?
No,
I don't think there are any shops for 24 hours now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think 10 o'clock is the cut-off.
No, my one's 11.
Oh, is
my Asda closes at 11 o'clock. It was 10.
Because yours is right just downstairs.
I'm gonna get cake tomorrow, Georgie.
Where are you going? Well, where was you planning to go now, Daphne? M&S?
Oh, I can go to Sainsbury's.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about M&S cakes.
No, cake and custard would be so
M&S
nice.
M&S is the best. Ew. I'm not going to lie. I prefer M&S.
M&S is the
It's a bit more of a drive than I'd be willing to make. So to tide me over,
at this
I'll
time
just go locally. Yeah.
M&S is the best. Yeah, but guys, I just feel like London is getting more and more expensive to live in. I mean, obviously, like with living in London is already mad expensive. And then obviously now with the congestion charge, I don't know. I just feel like they're trying to make London like almost like an elite town. Like they're trying to drive people out. They're building homes that they know your normal everyday people cannot afford. So I'm just saying to myself, who are they building everything for? Because they keep on saying, oh, there's not enough houses. But you're building houses that people cannot afford. So
there's no social housing, basically.
Who is this for?
I just feel like they basically want to make it no option. So I feel like it's a control thing. So it's like they know you can't afford the house. So they'll tie you into a scheme, which ultimately means you pay for that house for the rest of your life. And actually, you'll never actually begin to own that property in your generation. Because by the time you can own it, maybe you have to pass it on to your children or you have to give it back to them because for whatever. And then secondly, you can't drive. So the only way you can live in London is if you can afford to pay to drive in it. Or
even public transport in itself is expensive too. Like now that the children are not going to have free transport.
I feel like it's a control thing. It's one of them. We want you to live like this. So we'll make it so uncomfortable for you that you'll either leave or you'll conform. Like, that's
I
it.
agree.
But I think one thing I've really been thinking about lately is like the UK is overhyped. And I think, because we live here, we have this. Why are you smiling? Was I saying this to you, Danielle? We start smiling.
It's because I agree.
Oh, I just feel like, were we all talking about? I think we were all talking about it at one point. I just feel like, they've positioned this UK as if it's the best thing since sliced bread.
And, well, they think it's the best. They think it's the best city in the world. Yeah. No, it's not.
It's not. There's so many other places to live that you'll have a good quality of life. The healthcare system is good. The transport systems are good. There's shops. There's this.
What, for black people?
Well, yeah, I think for people, when I'm not even thinking about for black people, I'm just saying for people. So they're all I'm saying is they're no better or no worse than the UK, or in some cases they're better than the UK in terms of just diversity and for race as well. But the UK will have you thinking that, oh my gosh, it's the UK, you really want to live here. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's shit here, but it's also like, let's be honest, we want to live in the major cities. We want to live in London, but they're making it unattractive. And I'm like, well, there's other European cities that, they have similar, even if not better quality of life. When we look at the Nordics, for example, their people have really great quality of life. Their healthcare system is great. They'll be paying you to have
education,
be a couple. There'll be benefits for couples, for parents, and all this stuff. They even sometimes, like you said, the education, even university education is some of them free. But they'll be telling you, oh, the UK, then they'll be giving you $9,000 university
stupid loans.
So me,
be paying off till kingdom comes.
When I have my children, so I now have to come and pay potentially 21K. 24K, depending on if they're going to do masters and stuff for education. When I can just go hop, skip, and jump across the pond. The pond.
Yeah,
I
met this girl ages ago who used to live in, who lives in Denmark, and she was just telling me, like, she's a black woman, and she's just telling. I asked her, like, oh, would you ever like come to London? And she was just like, oh, I met my husband in London, but she was like, I'll never come back. She was like, the quality of life that she lives in Copenhagen is just second to none. Like, she didn't think that she would ever be able to have a life like that, because exactly what Daphne was just saying, everybody thinks like, oh, London, that's where they want to go. She's just like, no, Copenhagen is the bomb diggity. And every time I spoke to her, it always made me want to go to Copenhagen. I still haven't been. I'm going to go. And I just remembered, and like, she's always said, no, Copenhagen is the place to be. It's nice, it's still new, you can have like brand new homes, the quality of life, exactly what Daphne said, the quality of life there is just, she just could not stop raving about it, and it always just made me feel like, right, yeah, it's true, there's more to life than London. There's more to everything that goes on than London, and I think sometimes when we're here, we just think like, it's easy to think like, oh my God, we've got everything in London, and where else would I start? If it's not London, then what? Is it America? I don't want to go to America. So you almost think like those are the two places that you will go, unless you're going back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? But you think to yourself, there's bare places in the world.
Yeah, and I get it, because obviously, like, we have a lot of our family and friends here, and you're right, there is an element of starting a whole new life and stuff like that. But I think I've kind of got this thing now, like, because of this whole COVID stuff as well, I've got a slightly different outlook, and it's kind of like, nothing in life worth having comes easy, and you can overthink things so much that you'd be like, oh, but what if, that you forget
our
to live.
mind is our biggest, like, I don't want to say enemy, but the battles that go on here is crazy. If we just like our parents did, they just took a leap of faith. Like, do you think, of course they didn't know what they were coming to meet, but they've done it, and look at the outcome of what they've decided to do. So it's just for us to say, okay, you know what? Brave.
They were brave.
So it's just for us to do the same thing.
So young to come here
by themselves,
knowing that they're leaving the majority, and in most cases, leaving the majority of their family behind.
And not even the outcome of their tomorrow. This is literally a risky business.
And I don't know about you guys, like my grandparents, like I had one grandparent here, but the rest of my grandparents were back and gone. So it's like, there's no help really per se. You're kind of trying to navigate a lot of the things for the first time by yourself. And they really did a good job. And we turned out okay. and what more for us growing up in the Western world to go to even more like similar countries? We'll be fine. Like if we really wanted to explore other opportunities, you'll be fine.
But I remember before I wanted to live in the Middle East, and I thought I could, but then I heard some stories of people that had lived there, and I was just like, no.
I mean, not everywhere is different from living there, boy. Of course, yeah. I don't think everywhere can be or what we would call home, but I definitely think that there's definitely more to life than just London.
And I guess the way things are going at the moment, what I'm starting to realize is that you're right, Georgina, there are some places that are like but they're also like London isn't that great. We're lucky we live in London and no other major city in this country, because I think we've got a good experience, because we feel like, oh, you know, it's not that bad as it pertains to like the opportunities that are available for us as Black people, and you know, any discrimination that we face is kind of like we always talk, that subtle systemic racism that kind of goes under the but like in some parts of this country it's overt, like, and we saw it literally a week ago now, where they when they want to be overt about it, they will be overt about it. So I think in the same way, some of those countries, they can be overt about it, but they can also, you know, not be overt about it and potentially not have it at all. So, but I remember there was a point where I was speaking to one of my colleagues, and I believe she was moving back to Israel. Was it Israel?
But Israel's nice, you know.
Well, and then she was like to me, you know, Daphne, let me know if you want any, I've got, you know, I'm moving back, you know, if you interested in any roles, and, you know, there's a role, and she showed me the role, and I looked, and obviously I did what any, you know, Black person would do.
Is it racist?
I saw all types. I was like, no. So I was like, I will not be going there.
No.
Well, at least you went to do your Googles, Daphne, because someone like me, I'd just be like, no, thank you. I just shut it down.
I'm open to that kind of thing, because I don't have any like reason to not go at this point in my life. I'm very much like, I don't have dependence, not settled down. So if I'm gonna go, let me go. Like before it becomes a thing I have to like overthink.
Consider.
But there's so many places I want to go, but I'm not gonna lie. Every place that I have recently wanted to go, and more recently, there's somewhere in particular that I'll tell you guys about offline. You know, the prayers. But like. But like I have Googled and I checked these things out, and I'm like, well, let me see how it's going to be, because I think but I think one thing is clear, you know, for us as Black people, you know, I think we'll always find ourselves more comfortable in major cities. Like I feel like, you know, I will never go to anywhere that's rural or kind of really like, you know, out here in the country of any country, like, because you guys will probably never see me again.
Wow, isn't it? They'll just say she got eaten by something.
I'm going to stay where there's people, there's loads of people, nobody's really giving me a second look like, oh my God, like, oh, nah, I'm not.
What was that film? Was it called Get Out or whatever? Yeah. Like that type of living. No, we're not trying to do that.
God forbid.
No, I'm not. I'm staying in the cities where everybody can see my face and be like, I feel safe.
Yeah.
Because what I've come to realize is that there's too much dodgy things going on. Like, and not to be on a downer, like, you know, that we've been hearing of like unexplained deaths in the US.
What's these things about trees. People being lynched?
Like I'm sorry.
What is going on?
This is why I just had to shut off from everything, because
these
things are traumatizing, you know.
They are. There's a lot of trauma. People don't realize that you have to censor it. You have to filter it, because otherwise you find that it's a lot. It's too much.
And you know, it was like 3 in the space of a week in different states. So it was kind of like, what is going on? And the people were Black, right? That were hanging from the trees.
And not even just that, they were doing like fake dead bodies as well. And that was making me sick. Like, not just real people. There was also fake bodies as well. So they would stuff someone to look like it was real. And like today, I think I saw one today that it was hanging from someone's garage, like a white man's garage. And I just thought, what message are you even trying to send out? I don't understand. Like, what is that? This is very disgusting behavior. These people are animals.
But
like,
there's no
really
consequences for their behavior. And this is the problem. They literally like, they're like, and what? And what? Like, there's no one's going to tell him nothing. And that's the problem with America.
The people that are carrying out these actions as well, if not them, someone in their family or someone that they know is somewhere high up that would just be like, yeah, it's fine. give you hush money. Yeah, it's fine. Give you this, give you that. Like, it's really terrible.
And I was speaking to my sister about all this stuff, and you know how you were talking about trauma. I was like, you know, when you ingest it too much as well, it can really make you, and I don't have a better word, but it can make you feel a lot of resentment and like towards people, not because they've ever done anything or whatever, but you start seeing the whole thing, and you're like, it does feel a bit like, oh my gosh, you're all wicked. Like, it does feel like that.
Everybody on the street, you begin to think the suspects.
Yeah, and then you're just like, and it can affect you, and you're walking literally, and you're like, you feel like you can't trust anybody, and anyone potentially is thinking something negative about you. And so you kind of have to almost coach yourself through it and be like, no, don't let the hate go into you, because that's like, the hate goes in you. Like,
that was me on Saturday. Anyone that looked at me in the wrong way, I literally said, anyone can get it, you know. This day, anyone can get it. Like, I was just looking at people. You can get it. Vibe. You can get it. Yeah, I was just like, anyone can get it.
You're like, look at me the wrong way, bang you in your face. Madness. And you know, the thing is, I was speaking to Wayne the other day, and I was saying to him that, unfortunately, with everything that's currently going on at the moment, there'll be some people that will come out of this like a lot more educated and understanding about all the history of Black people and white people in the UK as well as in America and different parts of the world. So like the other day was the first time I ever heard of Juneteenth. I'd never heard of that before, ever. But I also said to him that a lot of people will probably be radicalized from this, in the sense of they will just begin to hate, let's say, white people, or the white people who already dislike Black people, or who didn't dislike Black people before, will begin to hate Black people. I was like, people will become radicalized. And the reason why I said that is because I was even watching the news this morning. I know I'm trying to keep away from it. I was watching the news this morning, and they were basically talking about one of the ministers was discussing about what taking the knee means. And he didn't understand what taking a knee means. It was actually Dominic Raab, who is the foreign secretary. And he thought, you know, when people take the knee, like what Colin Kaepernick done.
Yeah, what did he think?
Thought it was something out of Games of Thrones. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I think I did hear something.
And these are educated people, you know, educated people.
This is supposed to be the foreign secretary. And I remember that, so this morning on the news, they were saying that, oh, that's disgraceful. How can you think that? What taking the knee means? Like, you know, how can you minimize it and diminish it to something of Game of Thrones? It's like, are you stupid? So people started tweeting Piers Morgan, and think whatever you want to think of Piers Morgan, but people was tweeting Piers Morgan saying that, oh, you're a disgrace. He's not a racist. You know, you guys are taking this Black Lives Matter way too far. Wasn't it Black Lives Matter that allowed all of this stuff in Reading to take place, where the man went to stab people? Bruh, the thing was...
But that was a terrorist. He's a terrorist. So why are they relating that to any Black people? Exactly.
They were blaming it on Black Lives Matter.
But how do they even...
But that made me feel to myself, all this news is getting to people. Now, it doesn't matter anything bad that's happening now, Black Lives Matter. That's what it is.
That's what they're going to attach it to.
And that's what they equated it to. Yeah, they didn't even understand. And all those tweets that Piers Morgan was reading, I thought to myself, people have got hate in them now. Yeah. Because this news is getting too much. Yeah. And whatever they're consuming, everyone is consuming too much of something, to be fair. Every one of us, with all the information that's coming at us, we're all consuming too much of something. And the people that were responding and sending all of these messages, they were just spewing hate. Like hate, and it was scary, because you think to yourself, this is people in this country, and do you know what's even
sending
a message like that to a white man.
Do you know what's even more scary, George? That a lot of the times where people have kind of been doing that kind of joke, like they'll expose people, get them fired. A lot of the time, when you look at people under the comments, like you say, you find that they're people in positions of like teaching positions, and you know, in civic, civil servants, civil servants, and all those types of roles. So you're like, wow, these are people in the community that encounter people from all different types of children. And they have these views. So it's so scary, because you're like, wow, look, they're so you know, people online, people are brave when it comes to being online, but you're like, this is where you feel free to be your real self, to share your real opinions. So what more would you do when you're now dealing with children in playgroup, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be favoring one child over another because of color of skin.
Yeah.
Because you have this inner hate towards other types of children that maybe are not the same color as you. And that's what's scary to me. That's what's really scary, because now you're like, so when I have my kids or my family and my friends or whatever, so where's safe and where's not safe? Because these people are wearing masks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you don't even
one
know.
Side on the, you don't know.
Yeah. You don't even know.
It's scary.
Very
it's absolutely scary.
Very scary.
Boy, it's only by the grace of God, boy. We just...
Yeah, you just have to pray.
Honestly, you do. You have to pray. You have to be vigilant. And I think in everything, like, you seriously just need to, like, guard your heart through the whole thing. Like, you just need to, like, decide, okay, when is enough too much? Because, or when is enough enough? And when am I consuming too much information where it's making my mindset begin to shift, and it's beginning to shift in a way that I'm uncomfortable with? Because I had that situation where I think there was one Saturday, you know, the other Saturday when the three of us, when the weekend
when we was going to go protest, when we were going to go and protest, exactly, and the far right people came on a mad one. Oh my God, have we even discussed that when the far right people came on a mad one? Anyway, when the far rights came on a mad one, and I remember that day, I remember just looking at what was going on, the clashes, as the media put it. When I saw them attacking the police officers, white on white, I said, it's not considered white on white crime. I said, you're calling this a clash. These people have come specifically to cause carnage. They didn't come to protect any statue, as they said. Of course, their wording in the media for white people and black people is totally different.
They came to cause carnage. And I saw another video where a guy was specifically talking about, all the black N people, like the N word, or they all need to go back to Gombolombo. That's what he was saying. They all need to go back to there. And then next day, they showed a video of that same guy being beaten up. And the first reaction was to be like, good, he deserved it. And I was kind of like,
you had to reel yourself back in.
That's disgusting. Whether he was racist or not, he did not deserve what happens to him. He should have been beaten up. Maybe he should have been taught a lesson. But then not to that extent. I start thinking to myself, am I becoming desensitized? Where I'm now looking at these people and I'm like, yeah, good, you deserve it. You deserve
and that's
to
what's going to happen to a lot of people.
That's what I thought to myself, yeah, that's not good.
But at least you were able to call yourself out about it, and you were not in denial, because there can be a few people that will be like, yeah, I know it's not good, but he deserves it still. Like, and good for him. Let him get what's coming to him. So
I was actually disgusted, to be fair. When I saw it, I was like, you know what? This guy is obviously a dickhead, but nobody deserves what he got. I was just like, I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Like, I appreciate that, like, of course, it's not the right way to be. We know nobody deserves abuse. No, but sometimes it's just like, sometimes like, it's hard. This is what makes everything so hard, because you're constantly in this moral battle with yourself, especially if you have been a victim of trauma or any racist attack, because you're just like,
it's hard to feel sorry for them.
It is hard. Yeah. Let's be honest. You just be sitting there like,
the same with them. It's the same with them. If they see something and they're just like, oh, like they want to feel sorry for. That's the reason why people are saying things like, like all lives matter, because they see things like George Floyd and then they hear stories. They're like, yeah, but what did he do? He put a gun up to a pregnant woman. Oh, he was a drug addict. He done this. He done that.
Everyone
he
has a path to get over it.
That's how they all are. That's what they all do. Everybody is able to kind of have that desensitized mindset where you almost feel like whatever happens to somebody, that they deserve it.
Thanks for listening to another episode of And on that note, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, your aunties, your uncles, your sisters, and the whole shambaz. Thank you. Bye.